Ladies and gentlemen,
Good evening.
are you ready?
Okay, here we go.
You're listening to the Deal Room Podcast. Join us as we bring you the inside scoop on business sales and acquisitions. Get across trends in the area and hear the industry's best recount their real-life tips, traps, and experiences. Now, here's your host, Joanna Oakey.
Hi, it's Joanna Oakey here, and welcome back to the Deal Room Podcast, a podcast proudly brought to you by our commercial legal practice, Aspect Legal. Now, today we are back with part 2 of our 2-part series with Nikki Katz, talking all about the secrets to success in selling a business. And of course, Nikki is the perfect person to discuss this topic with us because she has been REIA Australia's National Business Broker of the Year for not just 1 year, not 2 years, but for 3 years in a row. So she certainly knows what it takes to sell a business. Now, if you haven't heard part 1, then you might want to kick off this episode by heading back to that part 1 episode and listening to that episode first, then come back here to part 2. In this last session of our 2-part series, we're digging into the gaps in the market. We're discussing the importance of setting up a system for the sale of business. We're also drilling into some common mistakes of sellers when they put their businesses up for sale. So this episode is a beauty. Strap yourself in because here we go with our discussion with Nikki.
And look, you are a multi-award winner, Nikki. So can you talk a bit about those awards and what they actually mean, where they came from and what it meant to you, I guess, to start receiving accolades within your industry?
Yeah, look, I mean, to be recognised for what we do is just the biggest compliment anyway in the first. So that was nice. A lot of people think that the awards just happen. They don't. There's a lot of work goes into them, believe it or not. It doesn't just land. You have to first of all decide if you're going to put yourself out there and do that sort of award thing. But there's a lot of setup in doing it. There's a lot of time invested in that. But I think if you believe in what you're submitting in these awards, it will always come good. So I had gained a number of certificates and things like that from education. I put all that together. When you're winning the awards, they're not just interested in how many sales you're doing. They're really interested about what else do you do out there. So do you mentor other younger brokers coming through? I was a major campaigner for females coming in, being, the first female business broker to win these awards. I thought that it was my duty to encourage other females to come into the industry. And now I cannot tell you, it's so exciting space because there's, I won't say equal numbers, but it's certainly far more improved on what was there before. So I then started to differentiate myself with the awards by doing other things, contribution to my industry and things. And that's kind of the stuff that they want to see, is making sure that you're not just all about me and how many deals I got, but also what am I doing as well? What's my extra stuff? And that was all, I was part of the AIBB, and I'm now chair of that for the South Australian chapter and the AIBB Education and Training. So I'm driving now training and helping to take this industry from what we're seeing as a real estate agent to professional body. And I'm very, very passionate about that. We need to all be taken seriously as this industry because we are highly educated and very skilled at what we do. So we deserve the recognition. So I'm very much campaigning about that. So all of these things go into these award submissions as to what you were doing. And I was really very lucky that people understood what I was trying to achieve with it. And I got some awards for that.
I love it. But just the mere fact that you had this plan, that you're trying to achieve something other than also just growing a business. I just think that's a huge thing, and I absolutely love it. And obviously what underpinned, some of those awards as well. What would you say, if you were to give some advice to new brokers coming into the industry, what some of the, what advice would you give them?
Oh my goodness, I'm going to sound such an old an old experienced broker when I say this. Look for the gaps in the market. If you do want to be a specialised broker, look for the gaps, find out where people are not concentrating on and find that, hone it, own it, make it your own. Be all over it, but go to also all the industry. If you decide to be a specialised broker, go to all those establishments, all those industry meetings, get absorbed by the whole thing. Because, for example, I would go along to the Hair and Beauty Awards. Now, nobody would come and say hello to me because they didn't want to be seen talking to me in case everybody else there thought, oh, they must be selling. It was really funny. But what I would do is I would stand there at the back or stand in the middle of the room and they would see me and I would get lots of nods and lots of whatever, and I'd occasionally get the "I'll phone you" kind of and whatever. And after that event, because you were there and being seen, you would trigger that thought, and then lots of people would call you afterwards in a quiet moment. But nobody, I had to get used to being ignored in the room when I would go, because they were just paranoid that everyone would know their it for privacy and confidentiality. Work to a system, set up a system and work to it diligently, and be patient because it takes time. It takes time to get good at your craft. It takes time to establish yourself in a particular field. Obviously come from somewhere where you have an inherent knowledge is always helpful, because you bring that to the table automatically anyway, and just work your butt off.
I love it. Good old-fashioned hard work, Nikki. I love it. I love it. And what about our buyers and sellers? So we've talked about how you can prepare a business in terms of maximizing the value at sale. But what, do you have some overriding advice that you give to sellers as they're contemplating a sale?
Yeah, look, obviously it's the usual stuff. It's good business practice. Get it ready, tidy up things. Don't, have a strategy for your sale. When are you looking to exit? What are you looking to achieve? What do you need out of that sale? What is it that you are going to be looking for in that sale? Monetary value or whatever else. And then does that business equate to what that looks like? So really just making sure that they're matching up what their expectations are. And I laugh because any other broker that's listening to this will know that the expectation is usually far outweighs what the accounts will normally say. So it's just making sure that they've got things aligned and that the business is transferable. Tidy up all the holes. Make sure that you have got yourself neat and tidy. Set up some manuals, processes, and procedures. All of that, I would advise that they work on the business for a while before they come to the market, because they'll get a better result at the end. And you can be a broker.
And of course, engage a broker. Yeah. I love it. Can you think back to any particular mistakes that you've seen sellers make as they look to sell a business? I'm sure there is a multitude, but
I've got long enough on this. Look, most business owners are uneducated when it comes to how to sell their business to maximum effect.
Of course, because mostly they've never done it before.
Done it. And in their house, what is it they say in a house? You have at least 11 houses in your lifetime or whatever. People don't have 11 businesses.
No, they don't. That's right.
Generally, they put everything into working in the business, not on the business, and they haven't spent enough time looking at it from how does a potential purchaser see my business, and what are the strengths and the weaknesses, and what can I do to plug the holes in there, and what can I do to make myself more attractive out there on the marketplace? What is it that my business will do? And obviously that's things like, it depends on the sector, contracts, systems in place, good long-term staff, good training facility, all of that will all help the business to get a better outcome.
Love it. Okay. And I am super interested to know what's in the future for Nikki Katz. Tell us what that looks like.
All right. So at the end of last year, I decided to go out on my own. I've been with a company for 7 years. That was great. It was fun. There was nothing wrong with it apart from I had just outgrown that journey. And so for a number of reasons, decided to move from being a specialist to going back to a generalist with businesses. And I just felt that I had been in my comfort zone. And, that's when you stop growing, isn't it? So the year 2021, I decided to start with a massive growth spurt, and I just needed it. So if it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't grow you, and it doesn't manifest into anything. So I am now, although I'm still involved in the beauty sector, but slightly from a different angle now, where I've become a buyer's agent. So jumped on the other side of it, and I'm now working with buyers to help them find the right acquisitions. So doing the approach differently from sellers. And then with that, I've also generalized now. So going into bigger businesses, adopting a very different approach of finding essentially the money first. So I'm finding the buyers, the investors, the Ps, everything first, finding out what they're looking for, and then going essentially shopping for those businesses. So doing it back to front this time, and really just to challenge and to see if that reevaluating just basically my focus. And I'm really quite enjoying that. And, I never want to stop learning. So a really big step and change for me is just having a different approach. And so I've gone bigger businesses, mid-market. I'm doing more of an acquisition kind of proposition, and being very deliberate and selective in my approach. Selling quite a lot of businesses now off market due to my connections. I mean, one of the things I love is putting a deal together. So listening to a buyer and going, what do you want? Listening to a seller and going, what have you got? And finding that where I can marry that together. And that's the thing that I really enjoy. It's the deal making. It's that's the buzz that I get. Yeah. And so I'm trying to hone my skills even further into finding scopes that buyers are looking for, and then going into those industries and coming out to show them quality businesses. So I'm just really enjoying different conversations. The acquisition work's challenging for me, which is exactly what I wanted. So 2021 is just slightly different, coming at it from a different angle, not doing as much volume, but just being more select and deliberate in what I take on, and knowing that when I take something on, I already have the buyer at the other end that I can focus. It's no guarantee they're going to buy it, but I know I've already got the audience for it. And that's something that I'm quite enjoying, putting those two missing links together.
I love that, Nikki, because firstly, I think that there's a lot of scope in Australia for that sort of role. And we talk to buyers day in, day out. And, I think a lot of buyers need a lot of assistance in their direction for the acquisition. And I just love acquisition as a way for SMEs in Australia to grow. I just think it's such an overlooked strategy. I'm just so passionate about it.
It's much faster for them to grow by buying other bolt-ons to their businesses and being strategic about it. And I'm helping people build that strategy and working out exactly, well, where do you want to go and what you're doing? And they're finding now by buying existing businesses that have good, strong profits, staff in place, systems, they can absorb that into their already, well-run business, but they can actually grow faster than doing it in an organic way. And so, putting deals together like that, which is it's a lot of fun.
I tell you what, Nikki, we're on similar trajectories. I super love that space and the whole idea of the amazing ability of acquisition to add so much value to a business. And we work with loads of acquirers as well as sellers. But that moment when businesses suddenly switch on to how much value they can add through acquisitions, and then they become multiple acquirers. And, I just love that. And I feel a whole new podcast just about this topic with you and I, because otherwise we're just, I think we probably both have a lot to say about this topic. But
I've actually just partnered with a company called Morgan, who are doing some really nice things with their technology. And in order for me to just continue to do the deal making, I've kind of outsourced or worked in an alliance with them to do all their back of house. And they're doing some really, really nice big volume businesses. So it sits really, really well with what I'm doing. So I'm really enjoying that alliance. I'm really enjoying working with them, and exciting stuff coming out. There's really some really nice deals coming out of that. So it's great. It's good.
Love it, Nikki. Well, look, I really feel like it's a watch this space because you are a woman on a mission. I absolutely love it. And look, Nikki, if any of our listeners really want to make contact with you, maybe, let us know how it is that you're working with businesses at the moment. Obviously, on the buy side, also on the sell side as well. You're still on sell side?
Yeah, on both sides, yes. But I definitely have buyers coming to me saying, can you help me find the right thing? And these are not businesses that maybe necessarily on the market, but we're making that strategic approach to them to say, well, look, reopen yourself up. We've got a buyer. Why don't we have a look and see where this lands? And that's definitely, it's a nice approach. It's working. And people are listening to, at the end of the day, any business owner who would not open themselves up to an opportunity, well,
Exactly. Okay, I'd absolutely love today, Nikki. How do our listeners find you if they want to work out how to work with you?
Yeah, look, I've got my own personal brand website called nikkikatz.com.au. I'm also working in partnership with Morgan Business Sales, so you can Google any of that. Anyone's welcome to call me for the chat. And it's a good space to be in 2021. Once we get rid of this COVID, we are definitely going to be on the up and up with business sales.
Oh, look, I am so optimistic. In fact, I can see everything is, I mean, there's a massive freight train that's on its way right now, and we're ridiculously busy at the moment, but I can see we're at the cusp. I'm extraordinarily optimistic. And it's exciting, an exciting industry to be in at the moment, isn't it?
I agree. And it's a lot of fun because you're learning so many different industries and what they're doing. And, people are doing good stuff out there, really good stuff.
They absolutely are. Nikki Katz, I just want to say a massive thank you for coming on to the show. And I'm looking forward to, we'll talk more about, the benefits of acquisition for businesses and how that actually looks in a future podcast. But for today, Nikki Katz, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
It's been my pleasure, Joanna. It's been fun. You've been really engaging. And look, I hope you get lots of listeners. The podcast is fantastic. And I'm a fan.
Oh, Nikki, that's so sweet. I did not pay you to say that.
It's fine.
I love it. And everyone, if you missed any of those details from Nikki, you'll find it in the show notes.
Well, that's it for part 2, our last part of our 2-part series, all about the secrets to success in selling a business. I really hope you enjoyed both of these parts in the 2-part series we had for you today. Of course, if you hadn't heard part 1, make sure you go back and listen to that. You'll find that just before this episode in your favourite podcast player. And of course, if you'd like more information about this topic, then just head over to our website at thedealroompodcast.com. There you'll be able to find contact details of our guest, Nikki Katz. And of course, you'll be able to find details of how to contact our legals at Aspect Legal if you or your clients would like to discuss any legal aspects of sales or acquisitions. Well, that's it. I really hope you enjoyed this 2-part series as much as I did recording it. Of course, if you enjoyed what you heard, don't forget to head over to your favorite podcast player and hit subscribe. Thanks again for listening in. You've been listening to the Deal Room podcast, proudly brought to you by our commercial legal practice, Aspect Legal. See you next time. Aspect Legal has a number of great services that help businesses prepare for a sale or acquisition, to help them prepare in advance and to get transaction ready. We've also got a range of services to help guide businesses through the sale and acquisitions process. We work with clients both big and small and have different types of services depending on size and complexity. We provide a free consultation to discuss your proposed sale or acquisition. So see our show notes on how to book a time to speak with us, or head over to our website at aspectlegal.com.au.
Ladies and gentlemen.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.
Thanks for listening to the Deal Room Podcast. To find out more about this episode and other episodes in the series, check out the show notes or head over to our website at thedealroompodcast.com.au.